There's a fun story I like to tell about the AdWords story since most of us use Google. In the early 2000s, there was a race to who could win the pay-per-click race, where you can search something and you can find it and there could be advertising for it. And to many people's surprise, in 2000, Google wasn't the leader. Actually, it was Overture. Overture was a huge company run by Bill Gross out of LA. They had just IPO'd, worth over $1 billion. Bigger company, more resources, more talent, more money, more technology. In every sense of the more, Overture had it. But we all know how this story turns out. We know that Overture doesn't win. And in the world of technology and startups, this is a classic David versus Goliath tale. Why is it that Overture, who had everything more going for it, doesn't beat the upstart Google, who at the time was doing a fraction? They had $6 million in profit a year, Google, at the time when Overture was IPOing for $1 billion. This is really interesting. How is it that this happens? So there's a moment in history, May 24th, 2002, Larry Page goes into the kitchen of Google and he puts this big sign, "These ads suck." And he posts them on the kitchen. I'm not saying that's a good leadership practice, don't do this, okay? But he posts this huge poster that said, "These ads suck," and he puts all of these things up with the different ads that suck. Now, what was it that sucked about them specifically is that they weren't really good at connecting. So if you searched, there was a certain type of motorcycle, a Kawasaki H1B motorcycle. If you search that, you might get ads for an H1B visa. So he writes this, and this gentleman, Jeff Dean, shows up in the kitchen to make a cappuccino. And he sees these ads suck, and he looks at all of the different pieces. See, Jeff Dean works on search. He doesn't work on AdWords. He has no business really working on AdWords. But he looks at this, and he goes, I dealt with a similar problem in my last business. So he goes back to his desk, and he opens up the AdWords platform, and he starts peeking in. He has no business doing that. It's not his team. He doesn't have permission. He has other priorities. He has other OKRs. He's got other things that he's got to worry about. But for some reason, he decides to peek under the hood. And he starts working on a solution Friday evening. Comes back Saturday, works all day Saturday. Comes back Sunday, he works on Sunday, goes home to have dinner with his family, comes back, stays up all night. At 5:02 a.m., he publishes a fix, goes home, and sleeps. The next day, the AdWords team show up. They run his fix on a secure set, and it works. It doesn't just work. Within that year, Google profits go from 6 million to 69 million. In 2014, 141 million a day. Today, $890 million a day. His fix was one of the most pivotal moments. And what's so interesting is that Jonathan Rosenberg tries to tell this story in his book. He's interviewing Jeff Dean, and he asks him, tell me about that moment when you saw Larry Page's "These ads suck." Tell me about that moment. Jeff Dean turns to him and goes, sorry, what moment are you talking about? He goes, what, like when you fixed the whole AdWords thing? Like you saw the moment, you went back in, you worked over the weekend? He goes, I think I remember it. This is a pivotal moment. So he presses on him, why don't you remember the moment? This is the quote, "It didn't feel special or different. It was normal, the kind of thing that happened all the time." High-performing teams have what's called normative excellence. The interactions between their team members are at a certain standard that they don't actually double think it. It's interesting because Jeff had the freedom to jump into the problem. He had the freedom to make some decisions. He didn't really wait for permission. See, what allowed Google to fundamentally win against Overture was the fact that their decision-making process prioritized high velocity and high quality without bureaucracy, without the meetings about meetings about meetings.